Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The country of Lithuania asks for a Russian smackdown. That is, they want to send troops to Ukraine. Do you think that's dangerous? Not for the Russians, for the Lithuanians. All right, I have here two articles, and then I have a Wikipedia page to explain what Lithuania is, who will challenge Russia, obviously, and I have a map. So, Russia, let's start with this one for my Lithuanian friends, and not only. Russia will not have patience with 5 countries. 3 are the Baltic states, the Trinity, and then 1 is Poland, and the other one is Great Britain. So, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, total population of these 3 countries in the Baltic states are called, is 6.1 million people. 6.1. Lithuania, I think, is 2.4 million people. 2.5 million. And they will send troops to Ukraine to help the Ukrainians. They're going to train the Ukrainians. That's a euphemism. Now, with Poland, obviously, Russia will have no patience because Poland not only opened its mouth too much, but they have a lot of history, long history of you, me, and so on. And then obviously Great Britain was at the origin of many problems in Russia in the past. So again, they have a soft spot for Great Britain and a little bit France in the past. Even though Napoleon tried and so on, Great Britain secret services were involved in Russia too many times. Just read history. So let's see what this Prime Minister of Lithuania, a woman, will send the man to fight to train the Ukrainians. We're going to talk about training. Who can train and who is not allowed to train. So let's start with this one. You're allowed to train someone if you know anything about the subject, or you're an expert. Not anything, be an expert. How do you get your expertise? By reading, right? That kind of information, and by direct experience. But it's about fighting. So it's like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to fight, but I never fought. Fuck you. So, those troops that this woman right here wants to send to Ukraine, to aid Ukraine, she said they're sending them as trainers. Why? What wars did Lithuania fight? In order to have the expertise, direct experience, or maybe that's what they want to gain. I think that's the second option. Remember, I said many times that NATO will try to insert its tail bigger than, full, let's put it this way, full going in, by using euphemisms. That is, instead of saying we're going to send our troops military to fight, no, we're going to send some military aid, they're going to disperse, food and all this our military, to old people, children, pregnant women, and so on, for the good of the people. And the Russians will attack us, therefore they're evil. But there's not going to be like that. Or we're going to send some, peacekeeping forces just to make sure that the civilian population is protected. Because we are for the good. It's not going to be so. Those guys are over there to fight. Don't fool yourselves. History and reality is different than this garbage talk. So let's read this article coming from the New Voice of Ukraine today, May 8, 2024. Lithuania ready to deploy troops to aid Ukraine, says this woman, Prime Minister, right here. All right, you're going to go and fight, my friends. Russia will have no patience. I guarantee you that. Lithuania is ready to deploy its soldiers to Ukraine for a training mission, Lithuanian Prime Minister said in a comment in the Financial Times on May 8th. You can't train if you don't know what you're doing, and Lithuania doesn't fucking know what she's doing. All right, there hasn't been a request for that yet. All right, it's going to come, don't worry. Lithuania has parliamentary approval for such an action. These guys, my dear Lithuanians, are not working for you. They're working for financial interest, foreign financial interest, FFI. Not for you, my friends. They have your elected officials that you elected, they approved that, and this Ingrid Bergman said yes. But Ingrida Simonite, oh, you're suspect already, Miss Prime Minister Simonite. All right, Simon from Israel. Simon, right? That's a Jewish name, isn't it? As far as I remember. Anyway, it says Lithuania has parliamentary approval for such action. She acknowledged, cautioning that Russia might view it as a provocation. You think? If we just focused on Russia's response, we wouldn't send anything, she remarked. Every other week, there's talk of someone getting nuked. Yeah, but you want to send them. All right, that's one. Second one. Ukrainska Pravda, Lithuania is ready to send troops to Ukraine for training despite lack of requests from Kiev. That's going to come. I'm 100% certain. Now let's look at Lithuania. Lithuania, all right, we have a flag over there, and I'm focused on this area here because I'm going to go to the ethnic groups. That's very important because you have 5% Russians. That's 146,000 people that are Russians living over there. And then you have Belarusians. Okay, so you got about what? 8%, 7%, let's put it 7%. I don't give it 7%, I'd say 6%. You get, 7% you get something else. Others, I don't know what those are, but Holocaust. Okay, I got it. Sorry. And you got Poles. Poles are always good to have in your country because they always want some chunk of your country. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, my Poles. Not. Okay, and let's see what else we have here. Population. Oh, they grew. Sorry, my bad. It's not 0.4, it's 2.8. My bad. An error or about what? 4 or let's say 500,000 people. All right, so this is Lithuania. Where is Lithuania located? Here. So understand how much danger these guys put you. This is Kaliningrad right here. I think that's the point. That the problem is Kaliningrad. This is Russia as well. This is Lithuania. This is Russia. This is Ukraine. This is where the garbage occurs right there. So let's put it this way. This is Ukraine. This is Kaliningrad over here. This is Lithuania. This is Poland. So, all right, just at the border with Belarus. And Belarus should not, and I repeat, should not feel threatened by Lithuania. Not at all. Because Lithuania is a NATO country, Poland is a NATO country, Latvia is a NATO country. Belarus should be just A-okay. All right? But Belarus just did some, also some tactical nuclear weapons drills as Russia did. They already started it. I read an article. So here is Lithuania. I told you that. But there's a problem. After Russians' warning or threat, which I think it should have been, if I were a Russian, I would have done it. I personally would have done it earlier, which would be maybe in March 2022 or maybe March, April 2022. And I would say the first bullet NATO sends or any country sends to Russia, you are at war with us. And we're going to use anything because our national security is threatened and our statehood. That means we're going to queue up. Just do it. I think we would have saved at least 1 million people and all these guys that were displaced and a country destroyed. I think things would have been settled. If not, well, the guilty ones always should be punished. Do we agree with that? We agree with that. So I think NATO right now is just after the warning, it's just backing off after the Russian says, okay, we're going to practice a little bit with some nukes here. Long range, tactical nuclear weapons, not the ICBMs and all that. No, the little ones, the mini more nukes. And I think that should have been done earlier to back these guys off. So then NATO comes and says, no, we're not going to send anything. France is not going to send, even though French troops reportedly are over there. The Brits said, oh my God, these Lithuanians are going to be now, what? You said no? Why? Because let me show you this article coming from Russia Today, and here it is. It doesn't mean that's true. Russia Today, 8th of May 2024. NATO to rule out boots on the ground in Ukraine media. A policy statement is set to be issued after French President Emmanuel Macron refused to exclude potential deployment, according to Corriere della Sera. So when this imbecile, where are you? Right here. She's ready to deploy. There's not going to be NATO. It's going to be only you, Lithuania. And when Russia will hit you, you're going to try to activate Article 5 of NATO, which is, we've been under attack. We didn't do anything. Burp. Okay, so when I was a kid, I did many things that I was not supposed to. And sometimes, I got caught and beaten up by adults and neighbors and whatever. And I would come to my father and say, Mr. Baba beat me up. My father's first question would be, what did you do? That's it. Because I didn't lie to him. So I was like, he was too smart to figure things out, obviously. So I would turn around and leave, or try to, lie by omission, and by him asking me a little bit here and there, he would say, well, maybe you deserve that. And get the fuck out. So the same here. When Lithuania is going to be smacked by the Russians, they're going to cry, Article 5, please, my pussy hurts. Why? What did you do? Nothing. We just brought troops in Ukraine just to train the Ukraine. That's what's going to be. And the Russians are going to be like playing piano with their nukes. I hope not. All right, so that's the way. This is the way. It's getting in through the back door. Why? Because you were not allowed through the front door. Get in through the windows. Is this the provocation? The Russians, I would say, were too patient. Too patient. That's what I think. But I trust, not that they need my trust, but through their statements and actions, I see the Russian leadership more calculated than these infantiles. More calculated, and they don't want to rush into something. So if I say, well, I should have done this if I were Russia in March or April 2022, and they didn't so far, and they waited for all this destruction and all that, I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt, like maybe they know what they're doing. I mean, I'm certainly they know more than I know about all this issue. So I'm saying, well, there's certain things that we don't know why they don't do that. I understand the Ukrainians. I mean, they didn't do anything like that to the Ukrainians because they consider the Ukrainians, brothers or the same people. But the Poles, niet. The Baltic states, niet. The French, no. The Great Britons, no, and so on. And maybe if the French will send their little troops in, the Russians will nuke them over there. Maybe the Lithuanian trainers are going to be over there. The troops, the Russians will use their little, how they call them, tactical nuclear weapons on them, not on the Ukrainians. And I'm very much inclined that the Russians would use them on these 5 countries that I mentioned, and the troops in Ukraine if they deploy over there. Not on the Ukrainians. I'm almost 98%, I'm certain that the Russians would use them, not on the Ukrainians. And I don't think they will use them on the Ukrainians either. I think they will, the message with the tactical nuclear weapons were not for the Ukrainians, or for these guys in the West who are harnessing the poor victim Ukrainian nation, not Zelensky and those guys from other nations. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Just do it. Guys in Lithuania, this is your government. If you agree with that, go ahead. I think the Russians will have no patience with you. Going to do a Lietuva on you. I went to Lithuania and I fought over there. I mean, I was a European championship. I represented Romania as in the national team. So I remember Lietuva. I fought a Lithuanian, if I remember, in Szolnok, Hungary. Szolnok was a big competition in Kyokushin karate. It was like a European championship. So I went over there and I fought. The first guy I fought, it was a Lithuanian, very strong Lithuanian. Well, I beat him up. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Lietuva. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.